Good day. In our group, we will be discussing social information processing theory and hyperpersonal communication. And by the way, I'm Holly Eliasco, and I will be introducing the general topic of our discussion. And by that, I will be discussing a short narrative session so that you have a hint or insights in our topic in this reporting. So here's the narrative session. Well, you can imagine actually right now, like if there is no internet, right? You and I can't imagine that. And by the way, I have a friend named Jago, and we became classmates in 8th grade, but he transferred to a school in Iligan when we entered in 9th grade back then. And I was not as familiar with the internet and didn't communicate with Jago so much, or like very much in those times. And I thought that he was too far away, that we didn't have to take a chance to talk, or like we make our friendship stronger by having a bonding with him, and because we only met briefly, like only during high school days. And then like during pandemic, it was actually a depressing year for everyone, but we all adapted technology and internet through communication. And I realized like how valuable my friendship with Jacob was, as we was only person like I could trust and rely on. And we are both grateful that we interacted through internet, like by reacting our stories, like sharing our humors by memes, like sending emojis, just like that. Like we became very close, just even though we never met face to face, but like only through internet interaction. Like for even now, like even 4 years, we still communicate through internet, and like seeing his stories in Instagram, and we share some adventures. Like he shares some adventures as a cyclist, and he's an extrovert, and like like other things, like also reminiscing our high school days. This story really demonstrates how people can become friends even though they're far apart. And then there's a weird feeling for us because Jago and I never met 4 years, and then not like he only stays at Iligan and I'm only here at Malaybalay City, but like there were times that he visits Malaybalay City, but we never had a decision to meet face to face because we already have this strong bond already. Like we just don't really ideally wanted to meet in like personally, but like we enjoy the limitation that we only communicate in internet very well, very close, and very related to each other. And it's a weird feeling because we people are very we normally wanted to see them face to face, but my 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 curiosity in this kind of relationship will be answered in our topic, which is the SIP theory and hyperpersonal communication. So, yes, social information processing theory generally it's like a communication theory that explains how individuals relationships and form expressions in online environments. Like even though it's just like a verbal and textual cues, but it really maintains social bonds. And also in hyperpersonal communication, okay, so it's a type of online communication that can be more intense and intimate than face-to-face communication. That really highlights in my narrative session just a while. And it often occurs when individuals can carefully curate their online identities and present themselves in a more idealized way, that it can lead heightened feelings of attraction, closeness, and even deception. So here is the extended thought. So why there is CMC, like why there are theories of the CMC and how the CMC is made, and it is because of Joseph Walter that really convinced us to believe in his theory, like also his observations and the system of education. Um, he is a primary scholar that credited with developing the social information theory. And we'll Since I discussed a general idea of SIPT theory and hyperpersonal communication, let my members to delve deeper in this topic.
Good day, everyone. Now, let me discuss to all of you the SIP theory, or should I say, social processing theory. So, we will explore how people develop relationship through text-based information, and this will highlight the challenges and solutions related to expressing and understanding emotions in text-based communications. So, firstly, now let me discuss on what is text-based information. So, text-based information, it is important and convenient for communication. However, there are various challenges as human use text-based as a tool to communicate. Now, let's explore let's explore what are the highlights of those challenges and solutions related to expressing and understanding emotions using this tool for communication. And those challenges are, firstly, is lack of nonverbal cues. In text-based communication, we will miss out on the important nonverbal cues like facial expressions, body language, and tone of voice that help to convey our emotions. Next is misinterpretation. In this, without these cues, our message can easily be misinterpreted, leading to misunderstanding and conflicts between the conversations. Now, let's proceed to the solution. A solution for those challenges. Firstly is the emojis, punctuations, and capitalizations. Using this tool, it can help express our emotions and intentions more clearly. For example, an exclamation point can convey excitement while a question mark can indicate confusion. Next is text formatting. In this, bolding, Italize, italicizing or underlining words can emphasize certain points and add emotional weight. Now, let's proceed to the tone indicators. In this, using abbreviations like S for sarcasm or J for joking can clarify the intended tone. Now, GIFs and memes. These visual elements is also very helpful for us to convey our emotion because this is a cultural reference in a fun and engaging way. Now, the last one is message length and timing. The length and timing of messages can also convey emotions. For example, a short, a concise message might convey urgency, while a longer, more detailed message might convey frustration. And now, let's discuss the key points of this. So, social information processing theory. This theory suggests that meaningful relationship can develop through text-based communication, but it takes more time and effort than face-to-face interaction. So, as people exchange more messages, they gather more social information, which can lead to building trust and better relationships. And lastly is the effective communication. In these cases, crafting messages carefully to ensure the intended tone and emotions are conveyed is crucial for reducing misunderstanding and building stronger connection. And that, while text-based communication presents unique challenges with time, adoption, and the use of various tools and techniques, meaningful relationship can ended be formed by using this kind of theory. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Sandra Alpich. And now, okay. Have you ever sent a message online and found yourself overthinking how it might be perceived? Or maybe you've had a long conversation with someone and by the end of it, you felt like you really clicked, perhaps more than you would have in person. That's not a coincidence. There's actually a theory behind this. Good day, everyone. I'm here to talk about the hyperpersonal communication, which expands on the social information processing theory that we just covered. While SAP theory explains how people develop relationships online, hyperpersonal communication takes it a step further. It suggests that communication through technology can, in some cases, feel even more intimate or personal than face to face interaction. Now, to define what hyperpersonal communication is, it's essentially the phenomenon where online communication becomes more intense, personal, and emotionally charged compared to face interaction. It's where the hyper in hyperpersonal comes from. Now, hyperpersonal is a combination of a two word. Personal means individual traits, whereas hyper means excessive or beyond, which captures the idea that mm, online communication can sometimes go beyond what we might only expect from face to face interaction. Now, let's look at the four elements that make hyperpersonal communication unique. The first one we have here is the sender selective self representation. The sender carefully curates how they represent themselves online. Think of it like putting your best foot forward or and using carefully thought out messages and hiding flaws you don't want others to see. Now, the next one we have here is the receiver's idealization of the sender. The receiver, on the other hand, idealizes the sender based on self-representation. They might fill in the gaps and create a more perfect image of a sender, which can lead to forming stronger bond than face-to-face interaction. Now, the third one we have here is the channel's asynchronicity. Asynchronicity refers to the flexibility of online communication. This allows them to take time, think carefully, and craft responses that might appear more thoughtful and impressive than real time conversation. Now, finally, we have the feedback loops. It plays a key role as people exchange messages online, both the sender and receiver reinforces each other's positive impressions, creating a loop where both feel understood and connected. Together, these elements shows how online communication can sometimes lead to more deeper and more mutual interaction compared to and what we can only see in face-to-face in interaction. Now, it's an interesting concept to think about as we reflect on our own online communication. Now, let's call on Ms. Quinzel Herrera to discuss the next topic.
Now, since my group mates have already discussed what hyperpersonal communication and SIP theory really are, let me now present to you practical examples in order for you to understand what they really are and in order for you to relate to them. For the 21st slide, as you can see, this is us. This is us in the first day of our class here in college where we do not know anyone and we do not have anyone that we can talk to comfortably. And in consequence, when we are grouped together by our instructors for a specific project or a specific task, we communicate with them formally, just like what you can see here. There is with a conversation on the left side that is very formal in tone, and a conversation on the right side that is casual. That is how we communicate with our classmates for the first time. It started with a very formal greeting, which is good morning, with proper punctuation marks. There is a proper grammar in the first conversation. And that's because we have a very accurate feeling when we are talking to a stranger or when we are talking to someone that we are not really close with. And that's what happens in our classes. We are grouped together with a group of stranger. Now for the right part, as you can see, the conversation is casual. Like you are talking to a very close friends. And as you can observe with the two conversation, it goes from formal to casual. And why do you think that happens? That's because there is a gradual relationship formation that is happening. And you just do not make friends with someone overnight. It takes time, right? And that is what SAP theory is about. It's about relationship formation that happens between strangers. In comparison to hyperpersonal communication already have an existing relationship. However, what this kind of communication do is that it deepens the relationship or it brings the relationship into the next level. As what you can see here, there is a logo of a very popular dating app. And I'm pretty sure that almost every one of us can recognize what it is. And it's what we call Tinder, where it's like Facebook, where you can post pictures, you can change your profile picture and chat with strangers. Our engagement in dating app have played a huge role in deepening a relationship. Why is that? What do you think is that? Why do you think that digital space gives more opportunity for relationship to grow? That's because in the internet, for example, in the Tinder, you do not just post a very epic picture of you, right? Unlike in personal communication where you cannot manipulate anything anymore. What is done, what is shown. In Tinder, you have time to select the best photo of you in order for you to make it a profile picture. And when someone you're dating with sees that, then you are projecting an image of yourself in a way that is favorable for you. You are projecting the best version of yourself and not just the epic ones because you disregarded the epic ones anymore, right? In our mind, we do not post epic pictures. We post the best pictures that we could think of. And that's because we want people to see us in a way that we view ourselves. And that's what happens in dating apps. You present the best picture of you, you select, you manipulate pictures. So, your dating partner, your Tinder partner, falls for the information, falls for the picture that you have given him, not the ugly ones, not the ugly pictures. Now, another example of hyperpersonal of how hyperpersonal communication really is when you converse with someone in the dating app. When you find something that you do not like about her, do you just say that? Do you just explicitly say that, oh, I really don't like your attitude, please change it, I'm turned off? No, right? You did not say that explicitly. Instead, you construct your sentence in a way that is not offensive to your girlfriend because you still have time to think about the right words for your girlfriend to not take offense of it. That's what digital space is giving. Unlike physical communication where you cannot change anything anymore. But in digital space, in Tinder, you can take some time to manipulate information. Hence, your girlfriend falls for the version of you that is kind and that is careful with his words, when in fact, what goes in your mind is really the opposite, right? And that's what digital space have given to us. It has given an opportunity for us to construct our public image. And in result, your relationship deepens because your partner in the online space cannot see the worst of you like the physical communication. That's what hyperpersonal communication is all about. The only thing you have to remember about the difference between SIP theory and hyperpersonal theory is that SIP theory is all about relationship formation, meaning a relationship still doesn't exist prior to the formation. While the hyperpersonal communication, there is already a relationship, but hyperpersonal communication brings it to another level. It deepens it. Now let me give the time to Miss Holly Haliasgo, where she will present the summary of our report.
In the nutshell, SIP and hyperpersonal communication are key to understanding digital relationship. Like SIP emphasizes the time and verbal cues in CMC, and while hyperpersonal communication highlights intimacy of online interactions. Like these theories guide us in navigating online connections, like fostering meaningful bonds and avoiding pitfalls in digital age. As technology evolves, their relevance will only grow. And I want you to put this on your mind, everyone, that we are living in the present day in a modern way of communication, which is part internet really give big importance, right, in this era. I want you to I will encourage you to make it a positive norm that it's okay to form a friendship even though you do not met them personally, because positive is complex and so is the negative, but it's okay, those kind of challenges, and try to embrace this kind of a way, because you never knew that maybe through SIP theory, like in computer mediated communication, really makes you feel connected because you find friendship in internet interaction.